Welcome everyone to Dhamma in 5 Minute podcast. The topic for today is why do we struggle? Meaning, let's understand what is struggle. For anything we want in our minds, we set expectations. Expectation within ourselves, expectation within others, expectation in the nature of things. Now, when we want those expectations to be met, we need to struggle. So there is a desire to meet those expectations, and hence we are setting a condition. And when things are conditioned, they are likely to be met and likely not to be met. So then the question arises, why do we set a condition? Why it is condition oriented? Well, the conditionality is part of nature. When I say it is part of nature, everything is conditioned. So the objective here is to understand what are these conditions and why and where this condition arises. These conditions are nothing but a set of expectations which, when performed, give us happiness, or rather, it doesn't create happiness, it removes the anxiety which we have of not meeting. So we get relief from anxiety, while when we don't get those which we expected it to work, will create an anxious situation and becomes painful. So the first thing we need to understand in life is that if we want to be happy, we should uncondition. We should learn how to uncondition. So there are, on a note of worldly life, to start unconditioning, we have to uncondition two things. Number one is to compare. Number two is to compete within our minds. World wants us to compare. World wants us to compete. But while we do it, internally we shouldn't have that. So we need to watch the breath closely to see what is changing there. Once there is a comparison, if there is a positive comparison, seems to be pleasure. But if it is negative comparison, then it leads to pain. Same thing. There's nothing called as healthy competition. There's only competition. So when we are competing, there's always stress. And the stress creates anxiety to achieve it. But when achieved, there's a relief. And that we call it as pleasure. So the pleasure of the six senses, that is the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind, is only relief from that suffering of struggle what we are having. So the basic idea of the Buddha Dhamma in totality is to remove the conditions, because by nature it is conditioned. So if we were to condition what is already conditioned, it's going to create a problem. Now the question comes, what are we conditioned? This body is conditioned. That is prepared out of food we eat. The house or the land or on which we are staying is conditioned. Somebody has to do something about this land to make it livable. The roads, what are being done, is again conditioned or prepared. So anything that is prepared goes through decay, goes through diminishing, goes through metamorphosis, which means it keeps on changing. So whatever is conditioned changes. And when it changes, it leads to anxiety. And what leads to anxiety creates stress, and there is always struggle. So the objective of the Buddha Dhamma is to learn how to uncondition. And to learn how to uncondition it, we need to go through the sutta. So there are suttas which will teach us how to uncondition. Thank you for being till here. If you have completed this, or if you have joined me till now, we will next section we will take how to uncondition it. Thank you.